Hi, and welcome to The Curling Show, the podcast that brings you interviews with the sport's top athletes and the people who shaped the game. Brought to you by Fit to Curl, a sports-specific guide to training for the world's greatest game, by John Morris and me, Dean Gemmell. Order Fit to Curl now for the curlers in your life, and you'll be sure you have it in time for the holidays. If you want a book that's autographed by John Morris, and you're in Edmonton at the Tim Hortons Roar of the Rings, stop by the lobby of the Coliseum Inn, adjacent to Rexall Place, and, I'm told, newly renovated, where we'll be selling signed copies of Fit to Curl for 1 hour before the start of each draw on Monday and Tuesday. For updates or information on our schedule at the trials, visit fittocurl.com or become a fan of Fit to Curl on Facebook. Hope to see you in Edmonton. The skip of a team that came out of the sea in Prince George to earn a trip to Edmonton at the end of this week, Wayne Middaugh, welcome back to The Curling Show.
Dean, pleasure to be back on the show.
Hey, good to have you again. The first guest ever and back again for a fourth visit, I think. I think it's the fourth time, yeah. Hey, your team got oh so close last season to grabbing one of the 4 direct berths into the Tim Hortons Roar of the Rings, and then you wind up battling in the sea to grab the last spot out of the pre-trials. All that said, when you put this team together, knowing that you'd play a limited schedule, isn't this sort of the way you imagined you'd find yourselves getting to Edmonton?
I'm not sure. It's what we were hoping for. We literally put the team together to win one of those 16 spots. We were very fortunate to get as close as we were to the top 4. We had a very good year last year. And you know what? The fact that we all agreed that as long as we could get there, the best thing for us would be to play some of those big, high-stress games in the pre-trials. And you know what? That's probably one of the best things that happened for this team.
You guys had only played 15 games together this season before Prince George, some of them in smaller spiels like the Sleeman's Berry Cash and the Ontario Curling Tour. Considering that you and Jeff Stoughton, who came out of the A side, are both veteran teams and both had lighter schedules, did that offer any advantages, or is it all downside?
No, it did offer some advantages. The fact that, you know what, we knew what we had to do, and we ramped everything up to be ready for the pre-trials. We played a fair bit, like a couple weeks in a row, 15 games. Like I say, right before the pre-trials to be ready to go when that week rolled around, and then we played the week after, kind of to keep the momentum, and now we've taken a week off to rest our bodies, and we'll be ready to go come when we get to Edmonton.
Yeah, you just talked a little bit about the intensity of having some games that were intense and with a high pressure, a lot on the line. Jason Gunlickson was on the show last, and he had a good point. He said that teams like Glenn and Kevin and guys who have won so much that they have to actually learn to bring their intensity level back up. Was it a bit like that for you? You were suddenly getting back to where you had to bring it back up.
I don't think you ever have to worry about Kevin and Glenn or Furby bringing their intensity level up. They're all those guys are the best. And Kevin and Glenn are the best teams out there and shown that consistently. So there'll be no issue with them bringing their intensity level up, I'm sure. It's just good for the teams that haven't played as much. Like we had the 4 guys together that I have, we haven't played a lot of those big games together. And that's a big part of seeing how guys react to different situations and just make sure that, you know what, that nothing, when you get to Edmonton, nothing comes as a surprise.
Yeah, I think Jason's point, actually, to be fair to him, I probably didn't get it right here, but his point was that they have no problem getting the intensity level up. It's just that they haven't had to bring it up for quite a while. You're right.
But you know what? Those guys, they come out and play every game like it's an important game, and
right.
You know they live and eat and breathe and sleep curling, and that's a big part of their life, and that's why they're ready every game, and that's why they're the best in the world.
Hey, what's the most difficult thing with a team like yours when you don't play together a lot? We've only played 15 games. What are the things when you play? You got a veteran lineup outside of John Epping is a younger guy, but you have a veteran lineup. What are the things you guys really have to think about a little bit more maybe and concentrate on a little bit more when you don't play together all that much?
I mean, the little things are exactly that. It's you know what, it might be a sweeping a rock to the wrong spot. It might be me not being as concise with what weight I want to see coming down the ice, whether it's board or hack or normal or P or wherever it is. So it's little things like that to know exactly where it is all the time and what's coming at you and where you want everything. It's just fine-tuning those little mistakes. And when we got to Prince George, we did a real good job at eliminating those little mistakes, and that's how we managed to get our way through.
Do you make sure John Meade knows what shot you're playing before you rush the other end? I know when he first started playing with you, he said sometimes Wayne's so quick in the house, he went down, I had no idea what we were playing.
Well, even he commented on that. He said we had to be the only game that went when our 10 ends in the C qualifier. We had 24 minutes or something left on our clock at the end of the game. And I still do the same things. I think he's just more used to me now, and he knows what's in my head. So before, you're right, I went to the other end and just assumed he would know what I wanted. And now I think he just gets a little more, and he's a little more comfortable with me, and I'm a little more comfortable with him. And you know what? It just makes it that much easier to play. But at the end of the day, you know what? John, and Scott, just great guys. And Trevor's played a fair bit as well. Nice fit into the team. So it doesn't matter if we have to bring Trevor in here or we don't. And everybody seems to fit in well. And we all have the same goal in mind.
Yeah, and you there still playing like you got a flight to catch. It's got to be the fastest guy on tour, I think, playing.
Well, it's not so much that. I just find the game, you know what, to the point where the shots are relatively straightforward. And I just find them that much easier to make when I break it down to their simplest thing.
There you go. That's a good lesson for a few people.
Yeah, and like a great example is that we're playing in the first time we played Ursula in the week. The one end, we're sitting one, but he's got four all around, and he's just going to take ours out and roll away. So I'm going to have to make the same draw again. I know it's going to be the same shot, same draw, same thing. So I don't even go to the other end. He makes hit and stay. I got to draw against 5. But people think, oh, how do you not even go to the other end? There's a draw against 5. I said, well, I just threw it on my first one. All they got to do is draw the 4th foot again. It's the same shot I just threw, exact same line, exact same pass. I don't need to stand there and look at all the rocks in the house and think about it. I just go to the other end and think, okay, draw the 4th foot.
Might be a good approach when you're drawing against 5, not to stand in the house and look at them all for a while.
It very much can be, that's for sure.
Hey, your biggest shot of the week might have been against Jean-Michel Menard. Were you surprised by the shot that he played that left you that double?
I think he was trying to be a bit lighter. I think he was trying to be short of the rings, and he just threw it a hair heavy. Like he was only probably 3-4 feet heavier than he wanted to be, and it was still a bit of a gamble of a shot because if you miss it, you're really behind the 8 ball, and managed to make it at the right time. And then from there, it was we just got rolling and just kept it going right through, and just played absolutely. The guys just played outstanding against Ursula in the last game, so that was great to see and great to be part of that team.
Yeah, you guys really were on in the last game, and that shot against Jean-Michel Menard did seem like a turning point for you. What result surprised you the most in Prince George? Team Gushu's exit, Team Simmons' run, or Jason Gunlickson's young team, or something else different than any of those?
Surprised me the most. You know what? There wasn't really a lot of surprises there. You know what? You kind of figured one team was going to come through that wasn't necessarily an expected team. That might have been me, for that matter. I don't know, but Gunner's team is probably the biggest surprise. I would think to be a young team. But bottom line is, I saw him and his whole team go out there and make a ton of shots and beat a lot of good teams. And you know what? That's the way the game goes. He definitely got some breaks that went his way. He steals a couple of 10 and 11 against Carey to get by, and some weeks Carey makes a draw the 8 foot for fun. And that week he hit on and needed to roll an inch and didn't. But those are the little breaks you get when you win games. And I'd be willing to bet the team that comes out of the trials gets a couple of those little breaks here and there too.
Yeah, that's true. It's tough to win in curling without some of that.
Yeah.
You talked about learning some things in an article, like was it with Bob Weeks, or geez, I should know this, but with Bob Weeks or George Carey. So I'll have to credit both of them and apologize later. You talked about learning some things about the trials by going to Halifax as the 5th for Team Howard. What kind of knowledge does a guy like Wayne Middaugh, who's played in just about everything, pick up when he's a spectator?
Well, it's different when you're out there playing on the ice. You notice your game and you're right into your game. But when I was sitting behind the scoreboard, I could kind of watch all 4 games at any given time, and it gave me a sense of feeling. You could see more how the players would react to different situations, and like I say, you just pick up a few things on what's going on the ice on all the sheets. And you know what? As much as it was that year, it was a surprise that Brad Gushu won. After watching all the games all week long, it was as big a surprise that Jay Peachy didn't win a game, as he was in every game. It seemed like right to the last shot. Brad drew the pinhole to beat him. Martin stuck a double angle raise to beat him. Like, these are all last shots in the 10th end. So you know what? He could have been easily 3 wins or 4 wins. Instead, he had no wins. And it's just those little things here and there that make the difference. And you just got to hope that they're going for you rather than against you. He just got really unlucky, and they went against him for all 8 or 7 games.
Well, 9 back there.
Or 9 games, or 9 games, or whatever it was. Yeah.
Nice to hear you give props to the much maligned Jay Peachy.
Well, you never know. Never know. I could be him this week. So
yeah, somebody's going to be in for a rough week. There's no easy spot on the bingo card, like we say, and it's going to be tough for somebody.
That's right.
Since that last trials, you've been through. We talked a lot about this current team, but you've been through a few variations. You played with your cousin Pete Corner for a couple of years. You had Ian on your rink for Ian Tetley for a while. Graham McCarroll. In some ways, does it feel like you've been on a bit of a journey since 2005?
Well, it sure does. We've tried some different combinations, and a big part of it is getting people that kind of want the same things out of the game. And we've been real fortunate with John Meade is, his job and his life and, 2 young kids now and family and everything else. He's looking for the same things we are. We want to play, so many events. When we play, we want to play in the best events. So we want to play in the slams. We want to play in, we want to make sure we qualify for the Roar of the Rings and all those things. Scott Bailey is exactly the same way. And so, we want to have guys that we know can play and can perform against, the Martins, the Howards, and all those guys, even though we're never going to be as consistent as they are because we don't play as much. And that's a big part of it. And even someone like John Epping, who's a young guy, who gives us the energy to keep going and keep playing and try and, really push hard to be as good as we can, he's pretty committed to his career, and that's a big part of his life. So the fact that, he curls, I've never seen 2 guys work harder on the road than John Meade and John Epping at their jobs when we're away curling. These guys literally, it's unbelievable. Like, they get up in the morning at 7 o'clock, and they work easily 5 straight hours till we'll get ready to go curl or whatever it is. They put in a lot of time on the road, which really, I've never seen anything like that before.
Well, it's also a benefit of technology, I guess, too, that allows people to do that. But
yeah, they literally live on computers and cell phones in our rooms. It's, like I say, it's unbelievable to see guys work that hard. I'm not sure I work that hard at work.
John got you on that fitness program yet?
Which John?
Both of them. Wait, John Epping is the bigger fitness guy, I think, right?
Yeah, he probably is, and I'm not quite his age anymore. My fitness level is chasing around my girls to basketball and cheerleading and all the other things they do.
Hey, you talked about Trevor Wall has played quite a bit for you guys. He's like, a real fifth, I guess, who does play. Scott Bailey has a bad back. What are the chances he plays every game in Edmonton?
Well, we're hoping he plays every game in Edmonton, that's for sure. We're taking a Jim Wilson, Scott's chiropractor, with us, just simply for that reason, to make sure Scott is physically ready to play every game.
Maybe Jim Wilson. Jim Wilson played in a league with Pat Simmons before. Did you know that?
In the Major League in Toronto.
Yeah, so maybe he has some insight into Pat's game. He tells a funny story. He had Pat spare for him in the league, and Pat shows up to spare, and after he throws his first one, Jim says, I think we better rotate who skips every week. So
that sounds like something Jim would say. He's a good guy and a good personality, and I think he'll fit in with the rest of us very easily.
Hey, I don't think I'd double down on this for a championship game, but one of the more compelling human dramas would be a final that has you guys with John Meade playing against Jeff Stoughton. Has anyone joked about that yet?
It's definitely come up, and just like that has come up. It's the same with us playing against Glenn. Kind of the same thing. Glenn and I played together, but if it's John and Jeff, one of them now are going to win this time. So it's kind of like who's the guy in the Detroit Red Wings who played for Pittsburgh the year before?
Oh yeah, gosh, how can I not remember his name right now? But I can't.
Last year he played for Detroit. The year before he played for Pittsburgh and lost both Stanley Cup finals.
Yeah. So somebody's going to make a bad decision.
Yes, you got it.
Somebody will have made a bad decision. Hey, have you given any thoughts to your season post Edmonton?
Yeah, we're gonna definitely play in both the slams, which are in January. One in Guelph, which we're looking forward to try and defend what we accomplished last year in Quebec City.
That's right.
And then the next one in Winnipeg, which are both great events. We're really looking forward to playing both those. And then as well, we're later in the year. In a perfect world, we'll be very busy in February, and then we'll end up with probably the Tour Championship in Victoria for the Bear Mountain event. But no playdowns for Team Middaugh.
No playdowns this year for Team Middaugh. Yeah, it wouldn't work, I don't think, but it doesn't surprise me.
We just focus all our time and energy on trying to make the Roar of the Rings, and we've accomplished that goal. Now our goal is one more step beyond that. So we focused everything on being ready and prepared for that.
All right, for a guy who has thrown a lot of these, we'll finish with the run back. I give you a topic, you give me your thoughts in 1 to 3 words. Wayne?
Okay.
Tiger Woods' ability to maneuver and escalate through the streets of a gated community.
Oh, it's beautiful. Can't wait to see the truth. Can't wait to hear the truth.
You know, if somebody had told me an athlete is going to do something this goofy, he would be the last on my list. I mean, I'm shocked still.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how you get hurt in an Escalade going 20 kilometers an hour, but like I say, can't wait to hear the truth because nobody knows what it is yet.
I was thinking maybe a good story for curling that might get us in the news is if, you know, Sherry whacked you upside the head a couple times with a carbon fiber brush.
How do you know she doesn't do that already?
Oh, there you go. I don't want to get personal here, Wayne, but, you know, it would be, you know, it'd be a similar kind of story, I think. It'd be great. So anyways, think about that later on, you know, maybe in a few years when you need some publicity or something. Hey, the fairly successful season of your former teammates Peter Corner, Graham McCarroll, and Ian Tetley.
Hey, they're great players, and they're going to win games. And what more can I say? They're good players, and you put them all together, they're going to win events and games.
Slow players.
They just don't get it.
The trials process, this one.
That's what I say. They don't get it. The game's not that tough. I don't think there's many slow players at the trials.
Oh, yeah?
You look around at Furby's team, Martin's team, Howard's team, they probably play, they all play, they know the game well enough, but there's no need for it.
Yeah, I think the better teams don't play slow. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Hey, the trials process itself, though, this cycle, what do you think of it?
I think it's long, but I think it gives a broader stroke of teams a chance.
Yeah, I think the field certainly justifies it, or certainly indicates that parts of the process were good. So
yeah, at the end of the day, you have to commit to play. You're not going to go out and play 1 or 2 weekends, or just play and get to the Brier and do well at the Brier and get there. You have to commit to play a lot of weeks on the tour. We probably played the least out of any team, and you got to commit to play.
The eye and the hog sensor handles.
I think they're a good thing.
Yeah, I do too.
I hear they break every now and again, but I think they're a real good thing.
Yeah, it's an impossible call by an official and pretty much useless. So
you got it. I will agree with that 100%, but they're a good thing.
Yeah. The number of CTRS points available at Ontario Curling Tour events. Some people seem to think there's a lot of them available at Ontario Curling Tour events. I think, and not begrudgingly, but that there's better chances to pick them up at Ontario Curling Tour events than at, say, events like the Manitoba Curling Tour.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
you know what? You go out and you play a 32-team event, you win, you deserve a certain amount of points, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I think I think it's as difficult to win spiels like Jason said last week on the show. It's as difficult to win an MCT, an OCT, an ACT spiel. They're all hard to win. So.
You got it. They're tough.
The Carrot Cup.
A great thing, fun thing. Love that it's part of the things of curling, and to me, that's what old-time curling is all about. It's all about some guys and some friends having a good time, and it's just one of those things that make curling truly what it is, and that's a great social, fun sport.
Well, hopefully we see the Carrot Cup out at the trials. I don't know if it'll be around.
It should be there.
George Carey's curling guru.
I'm not 100% sure. You got. I know George Carey. I know he's involved with his curling news.
He's got a new website, curlingguru.com.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh, well, there. I just gave George a little plug, though. But I think it just launched today, so there you go.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I've probably never seen it then.
So, yeah, you can't comment on his status as a curling guru until you see this. Yeah. So, I guess you could, but I'll let you see the site.
Well, he's got a silver medal. I don't have one of those.
Yeah, there you go. He does, and he does a lot for the game in different media venues. So, good for George.
Yes. Yep.
All right, Wayne. I give everybody a chance to name their sponsors. I know they're a big part of your team, so let's hear them.
Well, you know what? We wouldn't be where we are without the 15-year consistent support of M&M Meat Shops. That's where there's hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle. We also have been very fortunate to, over the last 3 years, to have BDO Dunwoody stick with us as well all the way through the whole process and playing down. We're lucky that Asham Curling Supplies help us out with brooms and shoes and pants and clothes and whatever we need. As well as Kids Help Phone is absolutely fabulous. We're happy we can get the word out there that this is an important organization. They have 10,000 volunteers coast to coast, and they're there for our young kids. And other than that, we're pretty happy with everybody that supports us from our careers and our families, and that's a big part of it as well. And probably the biggest part of it for guys like us that have young kids all over the place, like Scott does, kids here, kids in Regina, couldn't do it without the support of our families, and we got to thank them the most.
All right, Wayne, thanks for your time. I know you're battling a cold. I appreciate it. I hope you're feeling better by Sunday out in Edmonton.
All righty, thanks, Dean.
That's Wayne Middaugh on The Curling Show. Take care of a gift on your holiday list by purchasing a copy of Fit to Curl by John Morris at fittocurl.com. And don't forget that we're in Edmonton on Monday and Tuesday for 1 hour before the start of each draw at the Trials in the lobby of the Coliseum Inn with special copies of the book autographed by Johnny Moe. Find out more at fittocurl.com. Thanks for listening. Time for some holiday pudding, which is the same as regular black pudding, of course, but somehow even more festive at this time of year. Check out their music in the iTunes store. It's Black Pudding, and the album is Pudding Bloody Pudding.
You go to work every day, you blend into the crowd, but in the silence of night, he's got to live it